Hello, everyone. I can already see people are excited to join. We even have a raised hand at the beginning of the webinar. Let me just see if I can allow to unmute. Maybe you'll be able to speak. All right, your hand is down. All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Muyanjeli Kumba, and on behalf of the BongoHive AI Lab, our partners at Giraffe Technologies, AI Literacy, and Qhala, it is my pleasure to welcome you to tonight's webinar, Scaling AI, How AI is Transforming Agriculture in Zambia. We are joining you as part of Africa's AI Literacy Week 2026, a continent-wide initiative dedicated to making AI real, accessible, and relevant for African communities. And tonight, we're doing it right here in Zambia. Over the next hour and a half, we're going to hear from some of the most exciting voices working at the intersection between technology, agriculture in this country. And we're going to hear about a Zambian AI platform built specifically for African farmers and food processors. We'll also hear about what AI literacy means for people who need it most. And we'll tie it all together with a live demo. A quick housekeeping note before we begin. Please keep your microphones muted unless you are speaking, and we'll have a live audience poll coming up shortly, so keep an eye on your screen. There'll be a time for your questions at the end, so make sure that you use the Q&A function at the bottom of your Zoom screen to submit as we go. So let's get right into it. Once again, thank you for joining us, and we're looking forward to hear what you have to say. So, okay, our poll is live. Please let me know if you can see it. We just want to hear from you. So we put together a quick poll. It should be appearing on your screens right now. Take a moment to respond. There are no right or wrong answers. We just want to understand who's in the room with us tonight and where you're joining us from. Thank you so much for seeing responses come in already. So how market ready is your farm? So from the looks of it, a few people are frustrated that middlemen get to determine the prices. Come on, let's get those answers in. We just have 12 people who have responded. We want to know who's in the room, we want to understand each other. It's better that we know each other better, and we can customize the demonstration to your needs. That is great. We have more people responding to our questions. Option two is still taking the lead as it stands. More than half of the participants have been able to answer, so we're waiting for the rest of the other half. We are at the halfway mark of this exercise, 5 minutes into the exercise, and we just have 18 respondents. That's more than half of the people in this room. Option one and two are the ones that are getting the most responses. So it seems like the issue is data tracking and pricing. Option one is now catching up with only one less than option two right now. So in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to end the poll and share the results so that we see how many people are facing similar problems to what you personally selected. From where I stand, I cannot see who has selected which option. We can only see what option has been selected. So your answers are safe with us. It's truly anonymous. All right. Thank you everyone for participating in the poll. We've had 24 out of 31 responses in this poll, so we appreciate your responses. I will be sharing the results shortly. Please confirm if you can see the results on the screen with a thumbs up. All right. From how the poll was going, we have 38% of the respondents saying that they're frustrated that middlemen get to set the prices because you can't set your value or you can't set your price with the value of your data. And then we have number two with 29%, where are using notebooks and memory and have no idea the cost of production. And that is exactly what we are hoping to solve with this new technology we will be demoing today. I will stop sharing my screen now. And we get into another exciting segment of our session. So we're starting tonight with our own house. The BongoHive AI Lab is the engine behind this event, and I would like to hand over to the person that leads it day by day. Mapalo Lukashi is the data and AI lead at BongoHive, and he works on the front line of building AI literacy and capability across Zambian tech ecosystem. Mapalo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Moyanje, and thank you to everyone who's on this call. We're excited to have you as always. This is a webinar that's intended to move us all forward as a nation, as Africa in the AI space. So as Moyanje said, I am the head of the BongoHive AI Lab, and I just want to give us a brief intro to what we do as BongoHive AI Lab. So as the BongoHive AI Lab, we are pioneering AI innovation across Africa. And when we speak of pioneering it, we're doing it around while we're doing research, for example, capacity building and building industry solutions. So we are pioneering AI innovation across those three areas for the most part. So research, industry solutions, and capacity building. So you pick what works for you. If you want to be able to understand some of our research, we do have research that's publicly available on our website, ai.bongohive.co.zm, where you can be able to view our state of AI in Zambia, report our our AI ecosystem mapping report for local languages, and that's also a growing database of research that we're building on. For industry solutions, we have a couple of services that we offer to businesses, corporates alike, from being able to build work automation to being able to go as far as if I can just be helped with some background noise. One of the mics is unmuted. I can just help out. Joseph, you can help out. Then the next thing is also we are also doing this through accelerating AI adoption across industries, government, and communities. So our work doesn't just focus on corporates. We also have an interest on how community is interacting with AI. So we do host community trainings and opportunities such as this particular webinar to ensure that everyone is being aligned. We've been able to host community events also at our hub at Bongo Hive co-working, such as the AI show and tell, where we bring AI tinkerers, people who love playing with AI, to kind of showcase what they're building with AI, right? And we also work a lot alongside government, contributing to government work such as the National AI Strategy, and other great work that's being done in our nation. So we look forward to doing more for the community that is Zambia and Africa alike. And we're happy to be partnering with Qhala during this Area Africa Literacy Week, and also with Giraffe AI, who will be also speaking to you next. So I'm going to ask Mwiche from Giraffe AI to be able to also just give us a bit of intro to who Giraffe AI is, and then go to Qhala after that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Really excited to see the farmers and entrepreneurs out there who are curious on whether artificial intelligence can really help us. Big thanks to Qhala and BongoHive for making us part of the story. As you know, we are deeply grateful for the opportunity to just grow together as a country and as a nation. I think Muyanje mentioned it really well. If you've got something to ask, please feel free to just inbox and we can raise the question later on. So my name is Mwiche. I'm the founder and CEO of Giraffe AI and Green Giraffe. Interestingly enough, my background is actually in banking, but I am more passionate about agriculture and building systems that create impact at scale. So all the farmers who were saying, look, I'm tired of these middlemen, I'm trying to scale this product. This is something that's basically at our core. And we are very interested in how these markets can work and how technology can make those systems more fair, more transparent, and more inclusive. Mapalo, can I also introduce my team that's here with me today?
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. I'm here with Joseph. Joseph, you can just go ahead and introduce yourself as well.
It helps if you unmute, Joseph.
Good evening, everyone. Excellent. My name is Joseph. I'm the operations director of Green Giraffe AI. Lovely to meet you all, and we will have a great, awesome time talking later on. I'll hand over to Solomon to just introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Solomon Simkoko. I'm the CTO of Green Giraffe Technologies and Giraffe AI. It's back over to you, Mwiche, again.
Great. So we can just probably dig in to what Green Giraffe is all about. So we are a traceability platform that helps people track their goods throughout the value chain process. I especially wanted us to discuss at length. I know Muyanje has some interesting questions that she wants to pose to us today. And so Muyanje, do you want to become part of the conversation?
Thank you so much. We're going to come back to a deeper conversation just right after Qhala presents. Barbara, are you still here with us? Okay. I'm assuming that our partners at Qhala are having some technical issues. Okay, Barbara, there you are. Yes.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much, BongoHive and Giraffe AI. It's such a joy to put faces to the names. And being our second year, this is very, very exciting for us. So I will not use up a lot of your time because today we are also here to learn from you and to get into your space as Zambia. And, we're looking forward to wonderful things that we can share with the agricultural communities back here in Kenya. So I'll tell you a little bit about Qhala. Qhala is a Zulu word for ignite, and that's our mission. It's to catalyze the Africa digital landscape with a mission of reaching 100 million people by 2030. And we do that through research, through building and creating, through consultancy, through convenings and conversations. And it is out of one such research that we connected It's called the Africa AI Talent Readiness Index that assessed the readiness of our capacity across the 54 countries, weighting different pillars. And the main highlight was that there's a huge gap for AI literacy across Africa. And so in response to that, the Africa AI Literacy Movement was born. And we recognize that Africans operate in communities. And so for this session, it's curated largely for innovators and the agricultural community. We had an earlier session curated for faith-based. Over the weekend, we had a session for educators, and it's been a whole week that we call the Africa AI Week. So this is special. It amplifies what we've been doing, and we are very, very happy to partner with BongoHive. You are such a strong brand, and Giraffe AI, and just see local tools coming out of this. One of the things we are trying to encourage our communities is it's not just theory. Also, once you get the concept, even if you don't know everything, try and experiment with AI. And so we have a good story to tell them out of this session, out of the recording. So I would like to stop there. I'm very, very eager to learn. I have joined using mobile phone because I found myself on transit, but I was not going to miss this. But I would like to invite any person from Qhala, Africa AI Literacy Movement, who might be here, to just unmute and introduce themselves. I do not work alone. We work as a large team, and I'd like to appreciate them. Anyone from Qhala who's here and is able to unmute and introduce themselves, please feel welcome.
So, anybody from Qhala, please raise your hands so that you are allowed to introduce yourself.
I will mute so that you can take on. Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, in the interest of time, I am assuming either your colleagues are unable to unmute for one reason or another, or technology is like that sometimes. But thank you, Barbara. What a way to set the stage. We now move on to the part of the evening where I've personally been looking forward to, our panel discussion. Tonight's panelists are 4 people who are either building, deploying, or enabling AI that matter in Zambia. And you've briefly heard from some of them. Now we get to go deeper. Allow me to formally introduce our panel. So we have Muiche Makoma from Giraffe Technology, the CEO and co-founder. She's giving us a wave. I'm sure you can see her. We have Joseph Simukoko, also from Giraffe Technology, who drives operations and go-to-market. We have Solomon Simukoko, the CTO of Giraffe Technology, who built the technology behind Giraffe AI. And lastly, Mapala Lukashi, head of AI Lab at BongoHive, who also brings a perspective of building AI literacy and capacity at a community level. We have 25 minutes for this conversation, so let's make every minute count. So starting with Muiche, this question is for you. Before Giraffe AI existed, what did compliance, traceability look like for the small-scale farmers or food processors in Zambia? And what was the breaking down and who was paying the price?
Okay, I love that question. So first of all, I love to simplify terms. I think it's always easier to follow the discussion. So first of all, compliance means following rules and being able to prove or have evidence that something has taken place. Then traceability means tracking a product. And this could be from a farm to the consumer, from a port to the shop. We need to know what happened. So in the modern day, you can think of tracking a parcel online. You know where it started, you know where it is, and you know where it's going. So traceability does the same thing, but in this case with agriculture products. Now, I want you to bring into what is currently going on. What does Green Giraffe currently go through? When we started working with farmers in the beginning, everything looked fine until someone asked for proof. I remember fondly that we had records from some farmers literally on a notebook Another one would say, I think I remember the rain was falling. This is when this happened. And still others would tell you, look, if you go home, I'm very sure I have the receipt for whatever you're asking for. This becomes a problem because when we would now encounter our buyers, we would be asked, but when was this produced? Who produced this roasted packet of nuts? Suddenly, everyone will say, no, farmers are careless. And I was like, it's not necessarily that they're careless. It's that the system was not designed to capture structured information from the beginning. And so the real cost, to your point, starts showing up. First of all, when you're trying to sell your product, like you've just mentioned, you can't access a premium market. Secondly, if you have a processor, you're struggling during an audit. And then if you're a buyer, you have the biggest risk because now you can't even fully provide evidence that what you are having is premium product. I know that personally from starting another brand, we experienced this as well, especially when we tried to scale sourcing across different farmers. So we realized that something is very important. Farming already is challenging, but we have to create systems ourselves that work with what we have. And so we started building differently, again, for the Zambian situation. Last year, we worked with over 200 farmers, and a simple truth came up. Most farmers don't just wake up and start thinking, oh, I'm going to start filling in forms to help you get whatever clearance you need. Your primary concern as a farmer is your rain, pests, the cost of fertilizer, if any, and whether, to your point, like everyone has mentioned in the poll, can I get a good price? So we decided that instead of asking farmers to adapt to that type of technology, why can't technology adapt to the farmers? And this question has helped us change everything. Giraffe AI, for example, has conversation to compliance form. So a farmer can simply send a WhatsApp voice note and report, for example, I have harvested 20 bags of groundnuts today, or I managed to apply a certain manure to this particular field. What happens is magical because there's a system that will extract this particular information and then it will structure it into usable data and link it to those traceability records, that evidence that now we can use as proof that now this is a premium quality and therefore even the price or the value of that product is going to be different. And so for farmers, it frees you to continue doing exactly what you should do, which is farm. And the system will quietly handle the complexity in the background. And for us, that is the huge shift, to be able to shift from paperwork to conversation, Mianji. I hope that helps.
Thank you so much for that. That is very clear and concise. Basically, what you're saying is that without traceability, everybody pays the price and everybody is affected. So
100%.
So this next question is also for you. So you grew up out of the BongoHive ecosystem. What did your journey look like? And what role did being a part of an innovation hub play in helping you build something that actually works in agriculture?
Okay, in banking. However, if you've grown up in Zambia, agriculture is a passion for all of us. So I think what people often see is the first startup that we did, which is way back in 2020. The real need that we're trying to address was how can we build a system that will create impact at scale? I'm going to digress here a bit because I know everyone will say, no, now she wants to preach a sermon, but bear with me. We told ourselves that basically there are two ways in which we can understand how the systems work at scale or how agriculture systems and financial systems and supply chains actually function across thousands of people. So when we were coming up with this, we're thinking not 1, 2, we're thinking at scale. The second thing is we wanted to understand how can technology really influence the system? How can something that is designed or a tool affect thousands of farmers and processors? And so what you see is a culmination of that, where we're able to say, we not only have this tool, but we have this home where we can build that. So Green Giraffe started with a simple idea: create demand for sustainably produced food and showcase that. We have a tagline, Zambian flavor in a box. But as we grew, we knew that we needed to find a space where we could grow our idea. And so the first program we got into was BongoHive ICRA I2GC grant. And the experience really helped us in doing three major things. Number one, with every product, you should understand who is your real customer. Secondly, it also helped us say, what problem were we actually solving? Was it flavor? Was it variety? Was it how healthy this product or the taste? So that was really important for us as well. Next, we wanted to ask, can this work in the real world? After we harnessed that, we managed to get into an accelerator program called the Women in Tech program. It's also funded by, today it's funded by Village Capital, but it was under Standard Chartered Bank. And so we began building the traceability from there. Later, we joined the Mentor Pitch program, and that really helped refine our business because, to your point, this was not just a hobby. It wasn't just something we wanted to play around with. We really thought this is an investable, scalable problem that will need to secure funding. And we managed to do that through the Zambia Business Angel Network. Each step of the business was to build the company and reshape our thinking. For us, BongoHive has always been that space that doesn't feel like a project. It's more like a program. It's with you through each step, whether it's an idea, whether it's now making it scalable, whether it's now adding even bigger value adds or rethinking and pivoting. It becomes like this mirror that's constantly asking, have you actually done the work for the people you are trying to serve? Have you reached the impact that you want? So maybe just to round it off, we didn't really start out with thinking we're going to build this AI engine. We started by trying to solve a real problem in agriculture. And over time, we realized that something is very, very important. Technology is the most important or powerful thing when it sits inside a system that improves how that system works for thousands of people all at once. And so for us, this is why Giraffe AI has become so important, because it's not just a tool. It's a way of making invisible farming systems visible, first of all, but also making those markets work better for the people inside them. And so our mission remains simple. We're going to create impact at scale by improving those systems and using technology that we have created ourselves to extend that impact across the entire agriculture value chain. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mucha, for that. And your journey just put into mind something we like to say at BongoHive, or I don't know, I don't think BongoHive is proprietary to the saying, but that's where I first heard it was fall in love with the problem, not the solution. So you have changed from the first time you came into the program or came into the ecosystem to now. There has been a big difference, but your mission stays the same. And we'd love to see that. My next question is for Joseph. So farmers in Zambia deal with a lot of real world constraints, such as connectivity, literacy, trust. What is the biggest barrier you're facing in getting Giraffe AI adopted on the ground, and how did you overcome it?
Awesome. Just to give you a little bit of background on myself, I've been working in the agriculture space, I think about 17 years. I'll just round off. I've been working in the agriculture space for like 17 years, and most of the work that I've done has been in building value chains. So I used to like teasing back in the day that if you throw me into any corner of this country with enough resources, I'll be able to build in a whole market system for whatever commodity that you want to be traded at the end of the day. So that's with the private sector crowding, the service providers, as well as even just the producer groups, the aggregators, processors, until eventually a product will come out of the market. And I remember the first job I ever did, I spent about 5 years doing that in the dairy sector. The next job that I did was also doing the same with village chickens. So I've been doing this with a lot of agricultural commodities. And one of the things that is consistent when we're dealing with agriculture is to understand what is stopping agriculture from advancing in this country or in this region, to be specific. So I just wanted to first start by defining AI from the lens of agriculture. Then I can apply it to the question that you've asked now, to at least to make it clear for those who are not really into tech. So AI is the ability of a computer system to perform tasks that are usually require human intelligence. So in other words, we are trying to find a way for a system to do work that should have been done by a person. So things like recognizing patterns, understanding language, making predictions, supporting decisions. So you can already see how AI would function in an agriculture space. In agriculture, AI helps farmers, agribusiness, supply chains across produce more efficiently, sustainably, and profitably, turning data into actionable insights. Let me just reframe that for emphasis. So turning data. So data is unprocessed information, if you remember that little from your computer science classes. So unprocessed information into something that you can use to make a decision. I repeat, something that you can use to make a decision. So if you underscore that particular statement, that is decisions, you ask again and say, what information do farmers use to make decisions? What informations do farmers use to make decisions? So if you go into the market to sell AI, then you've already missed the point. Just right there. If you're building technology so that you can sell it to the farmer, again, you've missed the point. The idea really is to help the farmer make better decisions. When you provide them with information to make better decisions, then you understand that you're now talking their language. So a farmer or farming systems in Zambia lack information access. And that's where the problem has always been with the agriculture space. So for instance, right now, we're talking about the likelihood of an El Nino event, right? For those who know what El Nino is, it's a weather phenomena that occurs every so often in this region, and its results are droughts, right? So the question is, where will the farmer get this information from to know that there's the likelihood of an El Nino event going to happen? Now, bear in mind that with every warning, there's what we call a degree of warning. And so when you present this information to the farmer, are you also presenting it with the degree of warning? So like right now, what is the degree of warning for El Nino? Does the farmer understand what that degree is? So if you remember COVID back in the day, when other countries would announce, we are now in level 1, level 2, level 3, right? Each level meant a certain degree of warning, all right? Then the next thing that you must understand is there's now another thing that comes in with that level of warning is what is the corresponding action? What is the corresponding action? So you have told me there is a likelihood of a drought to occur. What should I do? What should I do? So when you frame those type of thinking, you can now understand how to start the conversation with the farmer. You start the conversation with the farmer and say, look, I want to help you make better decisions based on what is currently happening on your farm. Now, instead of you processing all these complex data and calculations, I'll have something do it for you. Then at the end of the day, you are able to make a decision on what you should do. Someone is saying hello. Is that me? All right. So that is the starting point of how to sell the system. Access to information. Hope I've answered your question. Someone threw me off when they were speaking, but otherwise, if I didn't answer it, you can ask it again.
All right, thank you so much. You've done an amazing job of breaking it down to us, of giving farmers access to information. So now we know that you've helped them get interested in the new technology by giving them access. How did you overcome connectivity? And yeah, just connectivity. You've answered literacy and trust, but not connectivity.
All right. So when it comes to connectivity, I think the major problems that people lead by is that people don't have access to connectivity. It's a relative term, because if you're saying that connectivity is not available on your farm, it doesn't mean that connectivity is not available in your district, not available in your boma. In Zambia, fortunately, we have quite a big coverage now. Like BongoHive, you should have these statistics better than I do, but I do know that we have quite a bit of connectivity now. Then the next thing that we use personally is the Starlinks. Starlink has been very helpful. So we go into the communities to obtain this information, the grounding information, that's where we source information from. So that will give you a bit of background. So our system basically ingests satellite data. So before it can ingest satellite data, we need to set the parameters where it will be ingesting the data, which is basically the farm field, the actual field, not the farm, but the field. So people can own a farm, but on the farm it's got several fields. So we'll map all the fields. And so to get that information, we go in with Starlink. So back in the day, this was not going to be possible because you needed VSAT to be able to have internet access. But now we have Starlink in the country and it's mobile. They can go into the community, map these fields. And then, like I mentioned, the role of the system is to provide data back to the farmer. So it starts ingesting, right? So for now, what has happened is when the farmer needs that information, they'll have to go to where there's internet. And the workflow that we've introduced is they will now start having a chat with a chatbot. Now, I will demonstrate the chatbot to you later on. And that chatbot is the one that's going to be giving them specific information about their farm or the fields, right? Just from a chatbot, which is now linked to WhatsApp. So in other words, they don't need to download any other app. They don't need to go onto a web app or to navigate something that is complicated. They can just use their phone with WhatsApp, something that they already know, and it's like they're having a conversation with their farm. So for those who like technology, this is what people call digital twin technology, digital twin technology. So you've digitized the farm. It's able to provide satellites information of what's happening. Have they planted so the satellites can see whether there's a growing crop? Have they fertilized? The satellites can see whether there's fertilization that has taken place. Is the soil moisture levels correct? Is the photosynthesis levels correct? So this information is being ingested by the satellites, but then being processed through AI to be able to give back the farmer information that they can use to say, you haven't fertilized your field. The crop is now behaving this way. This is going to affect your yield this way. You have to do this so that you can improve your productivity there. And the other thing that we're able to do with the farmer now is to be able to link them to the market. And I think that's a question that has been coming in very strongly. And so we'll also demo that at some point. So I won't go into the depths for that. But what we've learned, just to demystify certain things, is just because the farmer might not be able to read and write in English doesn't mean that their child doesn't know how to read and write in English. So what a lot of things that people have found is what we call workarounds. So when a farmer is blocked by something, like I can't read and write, but I can afford a smartphone, great. With this smartphone, my son, please tell me what's happening on my farm. What do I need to do to do something? They've done a workaround. So these are ingenuities that we are finding as we are working with farmers, that farmers are not really that backwards. And that's why we need to reframe the way we think around them. We need to meet them based on their strengths and what they're able to do. Remember, they've been doing this for a long time. They've been doing this for a long time, and they understand agriculture even much better than some of us who studied it, right? Because they live it in multi-generational knowledge. So when you give them access to information, they get to apply it even better than us who went to school to study it. So it's quite humbling, but it's a truth. So when you walk into these communities, don't assume that they're not tech savvy, they don't know. Actually, reverse the equation and humble yourself, and you realize that there's a lot that they also have to offer into the conversation. All they just don't have is information to make decisions over. If they had that information, they'll make a very good decision. Yeah.
All right, thank you. I think you have taught us an important lesson on meeting farmers where they are at. To Mr. Solomon, this one is for you. So a lot of tools are designed for the Western supply chains. What technical decisions did your team have to make specifically when you're building for Zambia? The data, the infrastructure, and the edge cases no one warned you about.
Okay, so when we I have built systems for Zambia before, but mostly my experience has been in the Western world. So I've built mostly in Europe and I've done some work in South Africa. So I think building from Zambia, one of the key. So first thing is when we were building this, the consideration is what's the mindset? What information do Zambians need? So to try to localize, how can we build localized information from what the Zambian needs? In terms of his currency, his needs, his weather, and all those type of things, and do the tools which we connect to the weather app, the satellites which we will show you just now. Do they actually work for Zambia in a way that is applicable, or even other parts of Africa? So those are some of the questions we were thinking about. And in terms of and so early on we embraced some of the questions of some of the issues Joseph has talked about. Language, is there a way in which we can understand language? So we started thinking about language. Also things like connectivity. Okay, so I'm somewhere in the bush somewhere and I need to communicate with somebody, but I don't have access to a computer. I have a phone and my phone is not smart. How do I get this information across? So we'll be thinking about integrating with APIs which are working with SMSs. We've also been thinking about APIs which are working with WhatsApp. So, but then the issue was, okay, so how does the system know that the information which is being sent to him is what it needs? Because that was another question. So then the issue was, like because the way the solution has come about, we push different types of technologies to different type of solutions. So, for example, when we're dealing with doing some form of calculation to calculate the yield, for example, we're using an algorithm in Python maybe to do that. However, if we're dealing with somebody who's a human, we need to gather that information, but it's no use us gathering garbage in, garbage out. So there needs to be a level of we take our information, we throw it into an AWS Bedrock so that a large language model can understand what's being thrown at it, analyze it, throw it back to the person to say, okay, you have answered question A, B, and C, but where is D, E, and F? You understand? So that type of logic can take place. And I think we are actually there now because it's all those things coming together really. And yeah, I think I can talk forever on this. As you can see, Green Giraffe are good talkers. So let me stop there.
All right, thank you so
And again, just before I cut in, it's something I can show you when you're ready to have a look at the demo to literally show you how that works.
All right, thank you so much. You know what encourages me is knowing that we have talented developers and technological people who are able to customize solutions to our problems and create something new and better. So yeah, thank you so much for that. Tom Mapalo, this question is for you. So you're working with a lot of people who are encountering AI for the first time. For the farmers and food processors who are watching tonight, what do you want them to walk away understanding about what AI can and cannot do for their work?
Thank you for that question. So, firstly, what I would like every farmer, food processor on this call to note is that AI is not going to replace you, but has the potential to amplify who you are, right? It's not a replacement for your knowledge. It is an amplification of the knowledge that you have. AI will not make rain fall, right? Maybe in the future. But as it is today, as a tool, AI will not make the rain fall. But as a farmer, you may have knowledge about the current predictions of the rain patterns in Zambia, and AI can help you with that information. A lot of the things that have been said on this call by Joseph, Solomon, and Muniche here speak into how their platform may help with providing insight, right? And AI has got that functionality essentially to provide insight into what might come. So if you're a farmer, the first thing you should be asking yourself is, are you getting the necessary insight for your farming period for the harvest that's coming? That's one of the biggest benefits that a farmer, food processor should be looking into using AI for, right? Because AI has got a way of simplifying all the data that exists on the internet or exists in different databases or news and bringing that to you in a more simplified way. Today, with the benefit of chat tools, right, where you can just go on Gemini, ChatGPT, or better off Notebook LM, there are tools that can help you just query some stuff, right? But they may not be as accurate as a tool designed for farmers. So also that's the benefit around having tools like Giraffe AI that may speak directly to your needs. But that being said, AI acts as a tool that can help you with insight. Another thing AI will do for you is productivity, right? Productivity stems from one, the fact that you may be doing a lot of admin tasks as a farmer, right? Maybe it's preparing your budget, it could be sending an invoice, it could be sending a message to someone. You do not have to do that from scratch today. You don't have to have a blank message screen or a blank email page. AI has got the ability to generate content. That's one of the biggest things that has happened in the last 3 years with AI. That's why we call it generative AI. And guess what? Content is a huge part of that generation, right? So we can then utilize AI to generate stuff, be it documents that you need to provide, business plans to get funding for your food processing plan. AI has got that capability. Tools like Claude will help you build documents that can stand out for investors. They can give you that leverage. So use it for productivity, use it for planning, use it for planning how you ensure that you have great irrigation. That's another way you can use it. And last but not the least, use it for decision making. I use AI to help me make decisions sometimes because it's very good at comparing one thing from another. So sometimes be able to compare between government prices and foreign prices and try to see where your best output might be, your best leverage might be, making decisions on what to grow based off information. Do I go with cassava or do I go with maize this particular year because of maybe the potential drought that's coming? So use it for decision making. So in a nutshell, AI will not replace you. It will amplify who you are, your knowledge. AI is very useful for decision making. AI is useful for enhancing your productivity. And very importantly, AI will give you insights as a farmer or a food processor, and that and many more other things. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Papalo. Your answer just reminded me of a conversation I was having with my dad. He's a farmer as well, and he's constantly asking me, how can I use AI on my farm? Moyanje AI genius, show me how to use AI. Show me how to go on the dark web. I don't know how the dark web joins the conversation, but it somehow always does. But yeah, that is a very good answer. It's your assistant, your second in command, and it will help you amplify your work. So this is our final discussion, and this is the big picture one. We're in the AI Literacy Week, Africa AI Literacy Week. What does it mean for Zambia to have homegrown AI tools like Green Giraffe AI being built here? And what responsibility do we as the tech community have to make sure that the benefits reach rural communities, not just urban entrepreneurs? This question is open to all of everybody on the panel. So yeah, anybody can take it up.
Who wants to go first?
Let me jump on that one first. Firstly, AI literacy, kudos to Qhala for that, and just what Africa is doing with literacy on AI. One of the biggest things about such a week is it helps us understand why it's important that Africa should not just be consumers in the AI market, but be producers in the AI market. We have seen something happening. This was something that, as the AI lab, we had begun to already caution people on the dangers of not having localized AI. And that's that we are seeing the West and governments such as the US being able to withhold certain frontier models like Fable 5 and now more recently GPT 5.2, which is OpenAI's biggest model. Now, what that is doing, it is going to eventually create what is known as a permanent underclass because only certain people are being allowed to access these top tier models. Now imagine these people will have the time to use the best models to capture markets, to create dominance before they ever get into the public domain. We do not want a world where only a few people get access to the best models. So how can we solve that? Like every great thing starts from somewhere. As Africa, as Zambia, we need to start thinking about homegrown AI solutions, how we're building models that work with our data, our spaces. That's the one advantage we have. The other frontier models don't fully understand everything about the way we do things. So let's try to build dominance in those areas so that we do not become people that are stuck into the permanent underclass. It's time for Africa to be able to also compete on a global stage. It's time for us to be involved in thinking on big things and not just ending up thinking, actually building and programming. That's why we're pushing for compute. We are happy to see works like Giraffe AI coming out that understand the Zambian market, built for the Zambian people to be able to solve our problems. We are making a statement. We are not going to be the underclass that the world wants us to be. We are redefining our class. We are setting that stage. We are building that seat at the table, whether they like it or not. And that is why we need to do this. Thank you.
So just following up on your answer on your thing, and I just want to tie it up to why it's important for Zambians to use tools like Giraffe AI compared to any other tool. Our data is persisted on chain. So everything we do goes to chain, everything we do goes to chain. And if you say you have 3,000 farmers farming and all that information is going on chain, the information going on chain is the soil types, what's happening, what they're doing, the yields, and all those type of things. Not only that, you're getting the areas and all that. You are now beginning to have an AI model which is trained to how Zambians are farming. And we're able to then build models to help Zambians 20 years from now make agricultural decisions based on homegrown solutions, not something, I remember when Zambia was going through the revolution of having, is it fiber laid throughout the whole country, and it worked everybody else, but nobody realized that Imfungwe will eat the wire up. So people had to, because they never had that problem anywhere else. But when we started implementing it in Zambia, it didn't quite work because the cables were getting eaten. So we needed a different solution to say, how do we lay this cable? Because this cable can be eaten and something can no. So, but these are not problems you would face anywhere. For example, you don't get lightning problems in Europe. So whenever they build something, they don't ever think of I need a surge protector because it's something they don't understand. It just doesn't occur to them that there are places with lightning problems. So once you start building a data set for Zambia, decisions start being made by Zambians for Zambians. And your AI, and nobody can beat you. Nobody can beat you. Nobody can bring, oh, I'll bring something from China which will beat something which is homegrown. So please understand that once we start supporting this ecosystem, and right now, just one last thing I want to say is right now, AI has equalized things. It would take a nerd 6 months to build what Facebook has spent 20 years building. It would take you 6 months sitting down in a room somewhere and you can build the whole Facebook. AI has equalized stuff. So the question is, how do we then harness that to create Zambian solutions? And Giraffe AI is answering the fundamental solution, which is how do we eat? Let's start there. How do we eat? How do we grow stuff? And if we're able to answer that and get that, and we hope that Giraffe AI will be one of the first people to open source our blockchain models to other people who want to build off this data and make other decisions. So it becomes something which is a public good. Thank you very much. I hope I haven't spoken for long.
Thank you so much, Solomon and Mapelo. You have given brilliant insights on the importance of homegrown AI. I could honestly go all night with this conversation, but we have something equally exciting coming up. So thank you to our panelists, Muiche, Joseph, Solomon, and Mapelo. This was a very rich conversation. So we're now going to go into what I think many of you have been waiting for, a live demo on how Giraffe AI works. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Over to you, Solomon. We have heard about Giraffe AI. Now we get to see it. You have 25 minutes to show us what this thing can do.
All right, we'll work together with Solomon on some of these things. But as I'm enjoying some of the questions that are coming in here. Someone's asking about the ethical use of AI and using HAL 9000 as an example. Someone has just mentioned issues to do with how is AI helping farmers using the system. I think this is what we're going to demo now. Some of these more questions. For those that are asking to have access to the system, what we can do is please leave us your credentials so that you can book the session for a demo. So the system that you're accessing is not open access. Unfortunately, we have to unlock it for you. So this is why you're not able to access the system. The website is working, but it's just the system not working. So Solomon, we're going to walk everyone through how the questions that you had asked earlier. So the first one was to do with how records are managed so that you can be able to stay on top of your costs. And at the same time, Solomon, we're going to show them how to also enter data using um, the
Yes,
chatbot.
Joseph, can we
So
start from the map and then we go to your issue? And then also we should test the imagery, how it's able to read the images and stuff like that. And when we're doing
okay,
the chat.
excellent.
All right,
Excellent.
so
So we can
I'll
start
start
with the
with the map
mapping.
and then you can then do the bit. So I'm coming here from the map. So already, if you've given it, you can see the screen, right? Everybody can see the screen?
We can
Can
see
you
the
see?
screen.
Oh, you can see the screen because everybody's just going quiet. So it's picked my location. I am in Swansea in Wales. So I'm just going to pick a farm which is near me and just map it out. So there are two ways you can map out a farm. You can either walk around it or you can add points to it. So I'm just going to, because I am in a meeting with you people, I can't walk around the field. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to map it. Just map the field there. As you can see, it's been mapped. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to call it Bongo. Uh, and then once I save it, uh, if I scroll down, I'm able to see these are John Farmer. That's my name as a farmer. I'm able to see all my fields. It's giving me the area, the parameter. It's already done initial calculations. And if I view this info here, what it does is, as you can see, it's analyzing and trying to connect to satellite data concerning this. So right now it's busy loading the data. Um, it's busy loading that. I don't know how long it's going to take to load the data, but also it's also loading the data down here, which has got the crop health monitoring and all that. But also, what it's also done here is it's telling me that my crop health is good if it's bare. It tells me what it is. So right now it's connected to the field. It even tells me several vegetation anomalies detected, and it gives me what the issue is. And it tells me it's connected to NASA here. You can go back on the on this. So for example, I can see what the data was. Say we're in June right now. I can say what was the data for January, and I can say so there are about two satellites which NASA uses, and every time there's a pass by, so you can see how many times it passed by, the two passed by, and then from there I'm able to click the information. It takes a bit of time for it to load, and then it does that. Yeah. So Joseph, is there anything you want me to show here? Because now it's loaded the crop health information, and it's giving me all the different information to do with crop health and all that.
Yeah, so just scroll down because as with all information that you mentioned, this is data. Let's go where the numbers are showing, right? This is data that a farmer will not understand. Right? It takes someone who's a scientist to understand, a soil scientist or a plant scientist. But down here, we have the agronomist insights. Come down, Solomon, which Bedrock has brought in. So it's saying it's assessing the crop and is giving them. This is information that we're saying can also be, when you query the Giraffe AI, it will be able to tell you about your field. And this is what we're saying, that instead of even you opening this, reading all of this complicated, I will do it on your behalf and give you this particular information about your field. Because all of these things that you're seeing here, we can move on now to creating a batch.
So how do you want to create a batch? Algorithm, sorry, an algorithm, so we can see the expected yield based on the numbers you have entered, and then
Wait,
we
before
can
you go,
create.
Solomon, just go back to that.
Okay, I'm back here.
Yeah, I wanted to show them that if you choose a different farming style, for example, organic versus conventional, it will recommend something different. So you have to pick a crop, unfortunately. I'll go back up.
I can pick a crop. I'll pick rice this time. I've picked organic, and I've said Renfield,
It needs the variety.
and I've booked the variety. Select crop on top. What is it looking for?
Just put maize again. I think there's that
It likes maize.
you like maize.
Hmm?
Go back to cereals.
Cereals,
Yes,
pick
maize.
maize.
I think maize, people know it, so they'll know how to. You need to refresh it. Yes, go. Then put red. Yeah, refresh the page.
Oh, because it's still thinking of the old values. That's fine.
Yes. Yeah, you haven't selected the map, by the way.
Ah, that's why.
Yes, there now we can do it. Good. All right,
Variety.
great. So
It's actually already calculated.
yeah, so it's default on conventional. So it's given you, for example, basil and top dressing, but change to organic. See what happens.
Okay, so I'm coming back. I'm saying organic, and
And then
it's
rain-fed. Right. So already it's telling you add this amount of compost instead of fertilizer. And then on the other side, it's also asking you to add biochar. You see that? So if you're going to farm, these are the information that you could. So if you're not very good at farming this, it can help you make that decision. So we can close this.
right. So immediately we can go to crop management. You can see we've created a crop where we can add maize. At this point in time, I think we can try to see if we can do the same with Giraffe AI. I'm not going to make it talk, but it's got a talking feature where it talks back to you and you can talk to it. But I'm just going to say, ask it a question. Do you you know how to create a batch? Yeah, then it tells me. It says, absolutely, John, let's create a batch. So it tells me what I need to do for me to create a batch. So I can say, okay, create a batch on a field called Bongo. It
So
should be maize, variety, uh,
I'm going to ask you for some more information about how you grow it.
so note, if you note that I have actually even didn't spell variety correctly, but because it's a large language model, it looked at that and it was like, yeah, I know what you mean. And then it asked me, what's my expected yield? So I can say expected yield. Joseph, give me an expected yield for a field this size is 2,000 kilos,
Put
okay?
4,000.
All right, we'll put 4,000 kilos. Let the agriculture guys. What else does it want? Irrigation type.
It's
Okay.
irrigation type, rain-fed, and conventional.
And convention.
The key.
All right, let's see what it tells me now.
Success. So refresh your page, it will come.
All right, so it's told me that it's been successful. If I come back to crop management, there it is.
There it
It is
is.
created.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so
So
you
you
can
can even add activities now using, but show them the activity model so that they can see how much work it is to add an activity.
so this is the
So
activity model. So you can
start
say,
with a date.
okay, I want to do planting on this field. If you want, you can take a photo, as evidence that you've done it. You can add demographics, you can say a male worked here. And they worked 3 hours. Notice that I've put 12. Once I do that, it tells me that child labor detected, but it still adds the log and it flags it, telling me that child labor has been detected because I've put somebody who's young. I put 23 and say they worked 5 hours. And then I can say it was, constantly
And
telling, yeah, and then I can save. So you can see the activity has already been noted.
so go to details, Solomon, so that they can see what the activity looked like. Or I want to show them two things. So details.
We go to
So
details.
this is, yeah. So this is the activity. So already labor costs go up. The labor cost that you put 1,000 has appeared there,
Yeah.
right? And then when you put seeds, the cost will come there. The fertilizer will come there. And then when you use things like fuel, it will calculate the carbon emissions for fuel. If you use chemical fertilizer, it will calculate the carbon emissions in producing that fertilizer that you use based on the quantity of fertilizer that you've used. Then if you use a pesticide or a herbicide, it also calculates how much carbon was emitted when you're using that. But what is fun is when you use an organic fertilizer or an organic input, it reverses this by reducing the carbon. So you might even end up with a net negative carbon footprint, which is what we want to do. So pretty much that is it for the first question, to show you how the data is captured so that you can be able to see your cost ledger. Now remember, you can be filling in those forms without even opening the model. All you do is
You
just
can
tell
just come
AI.
here and just tell it that you want to fill in. But also, say you are going around, you can also ask it general questions. Say you're going around your field and you find that there's something wrong with your crop, but you can't quite identify what it is. All you need to do is take a picture. Like right now, I've got a picture of a cabbage, and I just click in it and it analyzes the picture. And it already tells me, hi, John. From the photo you have shared, it appears your cabbage plant is suffering from pest damage, especially from cabbage loopers or caterpillars. The holes and irregular feeding pattern on the leaves are typical signs of these pests. Again, We are feeding it into AWS through our S3 bucket, and then we're reading through the image data and we're finding out what it is, and we're giving you answers to how we can help you improve your agriculture. And you can ask it basically about anything happening on your farm.
So one note there I must mention is that it reads your data from your batches and the fields that you've mapped. So it's not going to give you information about someone else. It's going to give you information about your farm. So it can also see what's happening, just like the satellites are seeing. So whether it's water, whether it's nitrogen, so you can have a whole conversation with it. And this is perfect for those who are remotely managing their farms. But at the same time, those who want to understand what's happening on their farms, just basically, like we say, AI is to help you, give you insights to make better decisions. And this is how it is. So we're going to quickly switch to the next question, which won the contest, by the way. This is why I want to be quicker. So let's go to a processor, Solomon.
All right, we'll go straight to the processor.
So as it's loading up the processor, bear in mind that what we're trying to do when it comes to market is not, thumb sucking and saying there's someone who wants to buy this. Our primary role is to onboard food processors, aggregators, and those who are buyers on the platform first. And then from there, they list what we call demand. And then from the demand, that's what farmers are going to pledge. So at some point, we're going to show you how a farmer pledges, but right now we're going to show you how a processor lists demand when he wants a crop. Now, very important, so I'm going to go to the virtual warehouse. Very important is that once the processor sets that demand, he also gets to specify what type of certification he wants, and something needs to happen. So you can click on create specifications. So create specifications, the blue button on your right, yes. So here, pretty much the same way. You said you wanted maize, so Solomon, you can put the maize that you want, right? Mention where you want it to be delivered. So for example, if you want it to be delivered to a shed somewhere that people would know, so you can say, I want it to be delivered to a certain shed somewhere, Lusaka shed, right?
Lusaka shield. Use for.
All right, so what do you want to use this for processing yourself? Okay, great, next step. So now it does the same thing that we're doing earlier. You specify the cereal. This is important because put soybeans if it's going to go as maize. So yeah, so cereal, maize. And then here you can just put any. Put any.
Any?
Yeah. Yeah, any. Because you don't know what people have grown, what varieties have grown. Yeah. So here now you're specifying how you want it to be grown. So if you are someone who wants organic, for example, I want just organic products. Here is where you set your requirements. Say I want organic or conventional, you don't mind, right? Or if you want regenerative, you have to specify, right? And so let's put conventional because that's what everyone does. Okay. Then you can mention any practice here. So here again, this again is very, very important because this is where now, if you are exporting or the buyers that are buying your products need this type of certifications, you set them here. But what's interesting enough, when we go back to the farmer, if ever time will allow us, but we show you how we capture that data to show how ready that farmer is to be certified. So can you click on that? GAP, not EUDR. Yeah, GAP and climate smart. So EUDR and organic are very complicated. Most of our farmers are not yet there, but let's pick these ones which they can manage. So here's what's interesting. You can tell it where you want to source from. So only farmers from that region will be able to supply Chongwe. Which Chongwe? Right. So only farmers from Chongwe will be the ones who will be supplying. Here you can leave it blank. Yeah, let's go. So when do you want this? Now, if you have a product that you want to be sourcing periodically, so for example, every quarter, you can create 5 demands or 4 demands with specific dates that you want. This allows you as a processor to have access to your raw materials throughout the year. So you can put that 100,000, for example. First, and then your selling price right now is 3/4 15 and then first August. All right. So at this point, you can put any notes if you want. So he's created demand now. Let's scroll down to the demand. Scroll down. I want to show them something. Can you expand your screen if it's okay? Guided improvement pathway. Just here on guided improvement pathway. So it says crop mismatch. You require maize, but there's no one who's growing maize found, right? Because we just created a batch, we have not yet started growing the crop. So it already knows that there's a crop that's in the field, and it's already telling you. So when a farmer is going to now pledge, it's also going to tell the farmer what to do to meet these requirements that the buyer wants to buy. Pretty neat. So this particular framework is the one that is eliminating the middleman. So those people who are complaining about frustrations about pricing, by the way, when you pledge, you can also counter. So he says he wants this at 3/4 15 you can counter and say, me, I'll sell mine at 4/4. And if he accepts your price. So that's a way in which that can happen as well. So I think to allow for people to ask us questions, we've answered those first 2 demo questions. So now we can open it up to them asking specific other questions. And then we can also try to take time to answer some of the questions that may have shown up in the chat. Someone says they came late, but it was good. What are the objectives? Okay, so let me try to start answering this quickly. How can I create an account of Giraffe AI? So reach out to us, Ngambo. Reach out to us. So how we create account? We create the account on your behalf using the admin system for now, because we are still giving it out for freemium. Otherwise, if you try to go through the whole process, it will charge you money. So reach out to us. I'll put in my number in the chat box so that you can get our contacts. Reach out to us so that we can set up a system for you to demo, and then eventually, when you're comfortable, you can now go into the paid version. I'm also going to put my email so that we can set it up for you, because right now we're in the freemium period, so we don't want you to be charged, so we'll create the account on your behalf. All right, then there's another question about the objectives. It's a very loaded question. Let me just start with this one. Can your AI tool be used for livestock farming as well? Okay, great. So with livestock is a system that we are developing on the sidelines. As you know, Zambia is not a very big livestock country. So we needed the win first. But we do have something that is specifically for cattle. I don't know if that's what you're looking for. So it uses RFID tags, basically a tag that sends information to the cloud, the same AWS S3 bucket. And then from there, we're able to monitor. And then we also set up smart sensors around the farm, like the drinkers, the feeders, the crush pens. And then what that happens is whenever the cow is interacting with whatever feature that is, whether it's drinking, it can time how long the cow was at the drinker and correlate how much water it has ingested. So that system is still in development. It's still in prototype. We've been testing out the devices, and those devices, then there's additional devices that we need to test out because some people have requested for them. So for example, there's the retina test to see how the eyesight is for the cow, to detect, what's that called again, anemia. There's also one test that we need to do with heat detection, so that you can know when to inseminate your cows. So sorry, we are not yet launched that one. It's in the pipeline. We present that. What are the objectives? Someone had asked earlier if we're a for-profit company. Yes, we're a for-profit company. All of this costs money to host. All of this costs money. And so essentially it's not for free. So we have gotten some partners. So if you are under one of those partnership projects, we are able to support you as well. I've answered this one about the account. Okay, good. After, as a primary person, I pledge, is there a provision to commit the buyer to buy? Yes, there is a way in which, so there are two ways. You can actually decline your pledge. Solomon, just show them a pledge, but though it's going to be self-pledging. Pledge, yeah, no, you can't pledge because you're the farmer. No, you can't pledge because you need a crop to pledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a quick question.
So
Some people are saying
go
the
ahead.
site is not working. I don't understand because our site is working fine. What do they mean?
They wanted to enter the system to see what's happening on the other side. So if they want that, let them reach out to us and we can have them have access to the system. So I've put my details there, and you can be able to reach out to me via WhatsApp or email, and then we can be able to have a session with you, whether it is what you need. So when you pledge, for example, these are the ones that are available, right? What have you done? I thought you were pledging.
I was pledging, but I clicked back by accident. Okay, so let me
Great.
Which one? All right, this one.
So this is a 70% match, but I think it's going to score you low because you haven't completed the compliance documentations that are required. It will tell you which ones though. Type something random. Okay. So we didn't specify any food safety issues, so we can go ahead. All right. So this allows you to see which your report is for the batch that you are pledging. Let's go on. You can show them the report, by the way. Show them. So that's the report showing you what has been pledged. So it should be the same batch that we didn't do anything. Okay, you can move on. So that's the price that was there. So here's what I was saying, that you can change the price if you want, if you're not happy with the one that is said. And if he's not happy with it, so you've pledged. So notice there's a movement. It says 10% has been pledged for this, right? But you can also cancel your pledge if you don't want. All right, excellent. Now go down so that we can show them something. Scroll a little bit down. I want to see the information. Okay, not here. Go to the demand. You have to go to the processors page to accept the, sorry. So go back to the processor, right? So even when you pledge, the person that is the person who you are pledging for should accept your bid, right? And if he's not happy with it, he cannot. So go to, yeah. So my demands, not this tab. My demands.
Demands.
No. The same procurement demands. There's a sub tab.
Demands are finished.
Yeah, great. So you see there, here you can accept or deny. However, when you try to accept, it will tell you something. It will ask you, yeah. It should give you an error. Yes, it's giving you an error. That error is because no one has gone to verify whether that field exists. So just accept again so that people can read the error. So it says the batch verification report must be approved before accepting the pledge. So this is a fail-safe that we put in because there's another user that we have who's called a quality assurance agent. This will be your field person to go and verify this person who's pledging actually exists. The farm boundaries that they're talking about are actually his, and there's the crop in the field. So we've added a human layer to the whole event because remember, trust is the whole game. We allow people who wanted to ask directly, maybe one or two questions because we have to leave now. But anyway, I'll hand over to BongoHive. I think someone's asking about pigs. So with pigs, they pretty much work the way a crop would work. That's not a problem. What you call a plot of land, that will be the growing house. And just the same way we add activities to pigs, to the crops is the same way you would add activities for the pigs up until the growing cycle is done. So for now, we haven't launched the livestock model, but it's not very complicated to build out. We're still working on this one. So I will end here. I'll hand over to BongoHive. Sorry, guys, we have to go. Time is beyond us. Unless there's someone who had a pressing question, BongoHive will give you the permission to ask it. Sorry, we have to leave.
Thank you so much for that, for your presentation and for your just everything so far. Whew. Now I want a farm. Anyway, I wish you could stay on longer because there's so many great questions in the chat bot or in the chat, and I know a lot of Solomon has been taking the time to answer whatever he could through the chat, and we appreciate your work, Solomon.
Just tell your dad that we found the dark web where he can sort out his farm.
And there's someone from Eswatini. So the good thing about this system, please get in touch with me. Let's just have a conversation offline because time has gone. Simply, let's have a chat because it can easily be scaled because it's online. It's a cloud-based solution, so it's easy to scale. And then the only thing that we'll just need to set up and configure is the payment systems within your country. And I believe the
And that's
payment
why,
gateway that we're using.
just to answer, that's why we wanted to integrate WhatsApp. So, because WhatsApp is universal, WhatsApp is very universal. We can use it anywhere in any country.
All right, thank you so much. I hope you caught that. So let me bring tonight to a close. We've witnessed that this evening is proof that Africa is not just waiting to be handed AI. We are building it ourselves for our own context, our farmers, and our supply chains. Great. Giraffe AI is not a pilot. It's not a concept. It's a platform that's working, built in Zambia and solving African problems. And the BongoHive AI Lab exists to make sure that more stories like this get told and more people get put into writing them. A big thank you to our panelists, Muiche, Joseph, Solomon, and Mapalo. Thank you to Barbara, Mutoni, and the entire Qhala and AI Literacy Week for including us in Africa Literacy Week 2026. And I want to thank every one of you for joining us tonight. Before we go tonight, just keep an eye out for our social media, especially our YouTube. This webinar will be posted on YouTube so that you can still watch it even after it is done. And get in touch with Joseph. He's put his phone number and WhatsApp in case you have more questions or you want to join the movement and be part of Giraffe AI. Thank you so much. For tonight, we're going to end it here. Have a good night, everyone. And Solomon, my dad was on the call, so he'll probably get in touch. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.